Hey, everybody, what is going on? Serial Overdrive here, and today we're playing Rust. What we're going to be doing today is we are going to be talking about the release of Rust to consoles and what we know so far. So for those of you guys who are not in the loop, Rust right now is a PC survival game that is set to be released on consoles in 2020. Initially, this was announced in late 2019, early 2020. It was said that Rust is coming to consoles. It's going to be ready. We saw sort of a beta going out on the Xbox One store, and everybody was pumped for it, right? Rust was going to be coming out to the Xbox One, the PS4, and then it was going to be released to the PS5 and the Xbox One X on launch. People were pumped for this. It was initially set for summer of 2020, but obviously the fact that I'm making this video in November tells you guys all that you need to know. We missed that deadline. It did not come out in summer of 2020, and now we're sitting here in November, and there's no word from the dev team behind Rust. We don't know what the status of this is. We can see branch updates have stopped, so we're just sitting here wondering what's going on, and I'm hoping that I can explain some of that to you just based on the process of releasing a game and everything like that, and we can sort of figure out when Rust's going to be coming out, and spoiler alert, I don't think it's going to be in 2020. So here's where we stand. The new consoles, the PS5, the Xbox One X, they're coming out mid-November, and mid-November, that's going to be a key date for Rust to drop. If it's going to be dropping on console, that's going to be when they're going to get the most hype behind the game. People are going to be getting their new consoles. They're going to be going home. They're going to want something to play. And Rust is this game that has this almost mythical standing among like survival game enthusiasts. It would be perfect if they could drop it probably like right on the PS5 launch, maybe like November 10th, November 19th, if they're looking for Xbox One X or Xbox Series X, whatever, the new Xbox. If they were looking for that, they could drop it right then and it would be perfect. People would be loading it up right on launch. They'd be going nuts. They'd be playing it. And to sort of support that, they want to also release that on the current gen, so that Xbox One and the PS4, they'd want to release it on those two consoles too, because here's the thing, there's going to be a ton of people getting the PS5 and the Xbox and all that, but there's not going to be as many sort of users there as there are in the old gen or the current gen of consoles. I'm saying current gen because this is pre-launch of the PS5. But yeah, there's just not the user base there yet, right? It's going to take many years for that user base to get up to where the Xbox One and the PS4 are sitting, which means if you're launching a game and you want it to do as good as possible, a game like Rust maybe, you're going to want to release it for all consoles currently. You're going to want to release it for sort of a next gen and current gen. And I don't think they're going to be able to hit that deadline. There's no hype. There's no announcement. They're not saying Rust is coming out winter. They're not saying get ready for Rust. And the other deadline coming up is you've got Christmas. And for the games industry, Christmas is a huge deadline to hit. If you can hit Christmas, that means, well, not hit Christmas, but if you can hit a release right around Christmas, like that November date, the game's going to go nuts. That's why you rarely see a lot of games released like December 25th or December 20th. There's just not enough time for people to go out and buy it for their kids. There's not enough time for people to go out and buy it as a Christmas gift. Like if you want to get that Christmas money, November is when you want to drop. There are some exceptions to that rule. So a game like Cyberpunk, they can get away with a late release because it's got so much hype around it. But for Rust, I think it would be key to hit that November date, and I think they missed that date. The fact that we haven't heard anything yet, the fact that it is not a day one title for the next gen consoles shows us that they sort of missed the mark here. And my guess is the game probably runs fine on next gen consoles, but we're not seeing it running good enough on the current gen. If you run this game right now, I'm running this game on sort of a RX 580 graphics card, a gaming laptop. It's about 3 years old. I'm still having issues with it. The game is still a little bit sort of laggy. It's a little bit crunchy here and there. After you play for a few hours, this thing's overheating. And if you're talking about current gen consoles, those are way older than this laptop that I'm using, and they're probably chunking along and having a lot of trouble with the game. And they've added new elements like weather and everything like that. But one thing you'll notice is that Rust has stopped becoming so power hungry, and the actual requirements for it seem to be going down just a little bit. So what this means is that they're trying to optimize the game, and they're trying to get it ready for release on current gen consoles. Next gen consoles are going to be able to handle it no problem. Like seriously, those things are going to just fly through a game like this. But current gen consoles are going to have some issues, and if you want to drop this game, get good reviews, and have a game that's going to last for years and years and years, it's so important to make sure that drop is going to be running at least 30 FPS at almost all the time. If there's a little bit of like a lag here or there every like hour or two, people really aren't going to care. You can update that with a patch, but if you're running this game and it's running like 20 FPS on average, nobody's going to want that game. It's going to get horrible reviews, and then just when it comes to the console version of the game, it's going to be destroyed in the reviews and nobody's going to want to buy it. So my guess is this is what's happened. The game is probably ready for next gen launch, but it's not ready for the current gen of consoles, and until it's ready, they're not going to release it. My guess, since we have not heard anything from the devs or anything like that regarding that November release date, it's not going to get hit. Here's what happened. 2020, obviously COVID hit and things went nuts. Everybody was working from home, and this probably includes the devs that are working on Rust. This slowed a lot of projects down. It was a lot harder to test, and unlike some software developers like myself, games are usually tested sort of physically, right? You can't just remote into an Xbox and play, right? You can't remote into a PS4 and play. This means that all of a sudden, when everybody's working from home, now you need to get consoles into people's homes. You need to get them into testers' homes. And it's just much, much harder to do. So my guess is the fact that everything went remote in like early 2020 means that all those projects just got delayed by probably like at least 6 months. And this is why that summer 2020 date was never hit. My guess is they're probably about to miss the November sort of launch window. So what we're probably going to see is Rust dropping in mid 2021. I know a lot of you guys are not happy to hear this news, but I think that's probably what's going to end up being best for the dev team. It's going to give them more time to perfect the game. They're going to be able to get less lag into the game. And what's going to happen is even if that game still has a bit of lag to it, more people will be on that next gen of consoles. Will be on that PS5, that Xbox Series X. And what that means is they're going to have a better experience and the reviews are going to be better. So yeah, my guess is if we don't see this game dropping literally in the next week or two, we're not going to see it dropping on consoles for another probably 3 to 6 months. I could be wrong on this, but it's very rare to see a game that's released in December or see a game that's released even in like January, February, March. Those are generally quiet months. And then everything starts ramping up towards the summer. People want to get games for the summer. They've got extra time, especially kids. And it's just, that's when you want to drop. So my guess is Rust is going to miss this window and it's going to just aim for the next one. So probably in 2021 is when we're going to see Rust released. I know this isn't great news for a lot of you people or a lot of you guys out there, but what it means is you've just got more time to enjoy other games. Cyberpunk, I'm guessing, is definitely going to drop December 10th. You've got a new Call of Duty coming out. There's a lot of other games that you can play. And while it does suck that this is not going to be one of those games, I'm fairly certain that you're going to see it in early to mid 2021. I couldn't see them pushing it out any farther, and I don't think COVID delays are going to count for any more than that. Also, there is a working branch that they're working on porting this game over to consoles. The fact that it hasn't been updated means that branch either went private or they stopped updating so they could send it into store, get it tested, and see how it went. My guess is those tests did not go good, and now they're trying to fix everything up. They probably went silent on the branch and on the release notes because they don't want people getting too pumped for a game that they think they're not going to be able to release. They know what they said. They know that they said it was going to be released in 2020. They know they're going to miss that date, and rather than just making everybody upset or getting hopes up, they went silent. And that means that it's just not going to be coming out this year. And that's unfortunate for those of you guys that are playing on console and everything like that, but that means that they're going to have more time to perfect the game, and hopefully it means that you're going to have a better experience in the end. So yeah, that's my take on Rust and whether or not it's going to be released to consoles. I know it's not the best news. It's not the best take. People are probably a little upset with me over this, but here's the thing. There's people putting out videos about this every week, every day, and there's no new news. And really, if you look at all the sort of hints and signs that you've got, it shows that there's probably not going to be any news for a couple months. So what I'd say is if you're interested in getting Rust on the console, just sort of take a breather, step back, play some other games, and then come back in a couple months to see where everything stands. Anyways, thank you so much for watching this video. If you want to see more Rust stuff, I've got a ton of beginner guides and stuff like that, so feel free to jump over to my channel, see all that. But I'm not going to waste your time, so until next time, peace.